The Pixel Experience ROM. Now when you hear about this particular ROM, you get to think about a lot of things, what the Google Pixel phones have been doing in the past few years and how expensive they have been and how excellent of a camera they have had, and that is the reason we had an iteration of Gcam that was released for the masses, and sooner or later this was bound to happen, wherein the Pixel Experience ROM gets ported to a lot of devices like the Xiaomi POCOPHONE F1 or be it the Redmi 4A or any other phone for that matter. So it's been a couple of years or more than that probably that the Pixel Experience ROM has been on the development scene. There are a lot of features that have got ported, stabilized, and it makes for an amazing ROM. In the last 3 or 4 days, I have been using the Pixel Experience on my Xiaomi POCOPHONE F1 and I have been pleasantly surprised in many ways, which doesn't really happen a lot when I use a custom ROM. Be it the Gcam which is pre-installed, or the Pixel launcher, or the dark mode which is included in a stockish looking ROM and other things, or be it the smoothness of the whole user interface which is very close to stock Android. Today is the first video of the 5-point ROM review system on Smartphone Tutorials, in which we will be reviewing the Pixel Experience for the Xiaomi POCOPHONE F1. Hey guys, welcome to another video on Smartphone Tutorials, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell icon, because we are hitting 10,000 subscribers soon and the channel is going to get just awesome with beautiful content. And here's a card to my second channel, that is Kratos390. Go ahead and check that channel out as well. There's a link in the description which allows you to stand a chance the Zenfone M2. Participate there as well. For now, hello awesome people. Welcome to Smartphone Tutorials. My name is Kailash. Let's review Pixel Experience for the POCOPHONE F1. First things first, let's actually have a look at the appearance and aesthetics of the Pixel Experience ROM, and in that particular section we will talk about the default launcher and all its features. Now as you can already see, I am running a dark mode in this beautiful Pixel Experience ROM. The icons are rounded, and if we actually go to the settings of this launcher, in home settings you have very few options over here. It's not really hyper customizable like Nova launcher or all the other options, and one important thing that I do miss is when you swipe down the screen from the top, the notification drawer doesn't come down just like the Poco launcher. So that is something I definitely use on a daily basis. But we do have few customization options over here, like notification dots, at a glance, add icon to home screen, and display Google app. So that is very convenient. You have suggestions and you can allow home screen rotation as well. So more or less this is everything that this particular Pixel Experience launcher includes. But if you swipe to the left, you will have your Google feed. So that is a very nice and neat integration. And apart from that, well, you can press and hold on the home screen. You have an option to add widgets, which is a very common thing. You can change different wallpapers and you can use live wallpapers as well. So overall, out of 4 points, this launcher gets 2 points. Reason being, it does miss out on a few gestures and other implementations which some stock launchers have. At the same time, you don't really have a customization option like icon shape and stuff like that. So we'll give 2 points to the default launcher on the Pixel Experience ROM. Now moving on to this particular ROM, we will talk about the theme engine, which is the second aspect of appearance and aesthetics. Now we don't really have a theme engine as such, but if you go to display and you go to advanced, now the next option that you'll look at is device theme. As much as we don't have any customization option when it comes to theme, but at least we have a light and dark mode. At the same time, we have this particular option which allows you to keep it on automatic mode based on the wallpaper. But I prefer dark, so that is a good thing. But apart from that, when it comes to a theme engine, there's not really anything specially that is included in this particular ROM, like .os has accent colors and stuff like that. So again, when it comes to themes, we will give it 2 points out of 4, because if it would have had a few more customization options, well, we could have given it more pointers. Now the next option when it comes to other customization options in settings, if you go, so as you know, custom ROMs and the features of custom ROMs, mainly where it shines is you have a lot of customization options. But not to discredit Pixel Experience, but the way this ROM is designed, it is supposed to give you a very clean and fresh look, just like the Pixel phones. And that is the reason you don't really have a lot of customization options. For example, once again, if you go to display, the things that are available are font size, display size, notch behavior. Now these are basic things, and you have ambient display, which will go in the advanced or additional features section, but more or less you don't have a dedicated customization menu. Yet again, out of 4 we will give this ROM a 2 when it comes to built-in customization options, and where I will give it a full 2 or 3 is the substratum support, because I have tried it in the past. The themes work just fine if you have installed Magisk. Right now I don't have Magisk installed because I was using banking apps, and that's the reason, but I have tried substratum and it works just fine, apart from some issues here and there, but more or less it works perfectly fine. So that sort of makes up for the missing support for customization and theming. So out of 4 we will give this ROM a solid 3 when it comes to substratum support. So the last part and very important one in appearance and aesthetics for this particular ROM is overall fit and finish. Now the reason I like it so much, now the moment you boot into this ROM for the first time, you will see that this is how the home screen looks, and if you swipe to the left you have the Google feed. So this ROM stands true to its name of a pixel experience ROM. It gives you a very stockish and clean feel when it comes to the looks and other aspects of this particular ROM. At the same time, the launcher itself is very smooth. If you look at the notification drawer, it is very pixelish, and you have different things arranged in a very sensible and nice way. At the same time, if you go to settings, it follows the basic Android Pie guideline, so that gives us a very good impression, and it doesn't look unfinished or raw. So out of 4 I will give it a solid 3. So let's have a quick recap at appearance and aesthetics before we move on to the next section. So this got 2 points in the launcher section, 2 points in theme engine, that's 4. Other customization options, again it got 2, so that makes it 6. Substratum support got a solid 3, so that's 9, and overall fit and finish again got a 3, so that's 12. So we did have 20 points on offer for this section, but it scored 12. Now moving on to the next section, which is stability and performance. Now I would say this particular section is sort of a stronghold for this particular ROM. The first aspect of stability and performance is network connectivity. As you can already see, I am connected to my Wi-Fi, the data is on, and I've not really had many problems when it comes to the data speed and stuff like that. So let's quickly go ahead and do a speed test over here on data and on the Wi-Fi connection as well. So my Wi-Fi is 30 megabytes per second, and this is the only phone that is connected right now, and nothing much is being done on the computer as well. So let's see how much does it score. Now as you can see at the results, it's 29.9 and 29.5, so that's bang on for a Wi-Fi test, because that is the maximum speed I get on my connection. Now next up, let's quickly have a look at the data speeds. So remember, we are in India and the carrier name is Jio 4G. So let's see what kind of speed we get. Now we are in South Mumbai, which is one of the prime locations where you will get the best connectivity. At the same time, you will have a lot of congestion on a day like Monday, because we have a lot of people around and a lot of data usage as well. So that looks like a sort of a poor result, because the upload speed is really low. Now that has got nothing to do with this particular ROM, because it's been working just fine for me. So at least for network and connectivity, well, I would also say that the call quality, the call experience has been just great. And one good thing about this particular ROM is it does support carrier video calling. That means while I'm calling someone as a voice call on Jio, I can directly switch to video, and that support for custom ROMs is amazing. So all in all, I have had no call drops, no network connectivity issues with this particular ROM. So network connectivity gets a solid 4. And the next aspect that we're going to talk about is lags. Now this is something really good when it comes to pixel experience, and that I'm happy to report to. The apps open really fast, they stay in memory, and the scrolling and the animations, everything is super smooth and fluid, as if this ROM were designed for this particular phone. And yes, designed it is for the POCOPHONE F1 and the Snapdragon 845. So yet again, lags will give it a solid 4. So that's 4 in network connectivity and 4 in lags. So that is a very good score. Now next up, we are going to move at a very important feature or a part of the review, which is gaming performance. Now a lot of people nowadays, most of you who are watching this video, are crazy about PUBG. Now, as you can see, the transitions, the smoothness of this ROM is evident. Now of course it has a Snapdragon 845, but some of you might not flash a custom ROM if it's not a good gamer, because PUBG is that important for people these days. As you can see, it is performing fluently, and there is no bug, nothing at all, no glitches or no lag, nothing at all. and I have played PUBG extensively on this particular ROM. Now when it comes to gaming and performance, more or less I will give it a solid 4. Alright, so gaming and performance, or gaming performance for this particular ROM gets a solid 4. Now it's time to move to benchmarks. There is also a very important aspect when it comes to ROM reviews. We did run a couple of times Antutu and I was disappointed. Now I certainly understand and agree that Antutu scores do not define real world usage, because by that means it scores 235,276, wherein on MIUI it would score anywhere between 280, 290 and even 300,000 at times. So that is the score for Antutu. And if we have a look at Geekbench, now that's the score we get in Geekbench. That's 2,386 in single core and 8,821 in multi-core. Now that will give us a solid 2, not really that much when it comes to a score, because it doesn't really score that well and it's not really optimized for benchmarks. So that is about the benchmarks. And next option is heating and throttling. Now I have extensively played games on it. I have done a couple of video edits and stuff like that, and I would definitely give it a solid 3, because the device does tend to heat up, but not that much that you'll be uncomfortable. So yes, a recap of stability and performance: we got a solid 4 in network connectivity, 4 in lags. Gaming performance, we had a solid 4. And then benchmarks, well, we got a 2, and heating and throttling, we got 3 as well. So that leaves us with 17 points, and it really performed well in stability and performance, because overall I've not had any lags or crashes or app crashes or random reboots. I've not had a single random reboot on this ROM. Now let's move on to the next exciting feature, that is the camera over here. Now when you open this app, or when you are in the phone itself and you see that Gcam is pre-installed, it feels really amazing, because if you have a look, now this is one of the videos that I shot at night with the normal camera, not even the night mode. It's just me testing my newly installed lamps on the bike. So let's play this. Now, as you can see, the clarity is very nice even in low light, and there is not a lot of grain. The sound is also captured properly, so that gives us a clear idea that low light photos or low light videos should not have an issue. Now this is something which I used the night mode, but as the lights were on, like they were blinking, that is the reason it didn't come out really well. Let's actually have a look at a few of the other pictures. Now this is a photo that was clicked in almost 50% light. There was some light, as you can see, in the surroundings, and even if we zoom in, the clarity is very nice. Now moving on, this is a picture clicked in broad daylight, and as you can see, the detail, the contrast and everything, you can even see the water over here because it was clicked at that time. Apart from this, this is a picture clicked during broad daylight of my bike as well. So as you can see, the picture is very clear, the dynamic range is good, and everything is balanced perfectly fine. Talking about low light portrait, this is a low light portrait that I clicked recently, and as you can see, the subject is very clear and the background is perfectly lit as well, even in low light. And this is using flash, so that works fine as well. Now this is another low light photo, and as you can see, even after zooming in, there's not much grain that we have, and everything looks well lit and perfect. This is another low light photo. Now if you have a look at this photo, it was very dark when I clicked this picture, apart from some lights coming from here and there. But as you can see, even after zooming in so much, that is when you realize that there is some distortion. But for a low light photo, this is really good, and for an application that has been ported from another phone to this phone, it does the job really well. So overall, the photos come out really good in low and good light as well. So when we talk about the camera section, if we move to video, let's see what options we have over here. So we have 30 and 60 frames per second. So more or less this is a Google camera, so it has all the features that you would expect in Gcam. So when it comes to camera, a photo as a custom ROM, we would give it a solid 3. Video would be, I guess, 2, because it is great but it is not what MIUI can do. Apart from that, low light photo gets a solid 3 and low light video gets a solid 3. Apart from that, portrait works perfectly fine even in normal light and low light as well, so that would get it a solid 3 as well for the camera, even though it doesn't have the default MIUI camera app installed, and that is really nice. The next section that we are going to cover about is the battery life, and I have tested that extensively for 3 different days, and I've been using this ROM and not once I felt that the battery life is worst compared to MIUI or it is better. It is more or less over there, because if I show you the screenshots in a sequence, you will notice that it does the job pretty well of balancing performance and giving you good battery life and charging as well. And especially in this section, we are going to check only 2 things, that is the battery drain and charging speed. Now charging speed, out of 10, this ROM will definitely get a very solid 8, because it took 1 hour and 40 minutes or 1 hour and 45 minutes for me to get from 0. The phone was completely off from there to 85 to 90%. So that is really good speed. And let's quickly have a look at some screenshots of the battery life that I got in the last 3 days. As you can see in this first screenshot over here, last full charge was 9 hours back, and I did have 2 hours and 20 minutes of screen usage. And then another screenshot after 2 hours. And this is towards the end, so we've had a 31 hours of standby and screen usage was 4 hours and 48 minutes. So this is day 2. Last full charge 18 hours back and screen on 1 hour 20 minutes, 66% battery. And this is again towards the end of day 2. That's 36 hours of standby with 3 hours and 70 minutes. That's really nice. So even in a battery life point of view, it would get a solid 7, because I would experience slightly better battery life on MIUI. So 7 on battery and 8 on charging, that's a solid 15 out of the 20. Now last option over here we are going to talk about, and we're going to wrap this up by giving it a rating out of 5, is overall opinions, and that has 20 points, 10 points for the bugs and 10 points for the updates. Now as far as bugs are concerned, there is one bug. It does allow you to use IR face unlock, and the IR camera does work, but it is not that well optimized that it will go ahead and work perfectly like it does on MIUI, because even if your eyes are closed, the IR face unlock would still unlock your face. And there are a couple of bugs here and there which didn't really concern or annoy me, but more or less out of 10 I would give it a solid 6 maybe, because this is not a flawless ROM. It has its own share of bugs, but nothing that should concern you or make you feel that you cannot use it as a daily driver. Now the next option is updates. Now this ROM has been getting very regular updates, like at least once every 2 weeks, and this is not a weekly update which is given to this particular ROM. So out of 10 we would give it again maybe a 7. If you give me weekly updates or even nightlies, it would be 8 or 9, but 7 for this and 6 for the bugs. Now finally, before we wrap this up, overall opinions, well, it does have ambient display, which is a very neat feature. So whenever you get notifications, just like OnePlus, you have these sort of breathing notifications, and you have this always hearing feature which detects music and stuff like that. So more or less it has all the features. It has double tap to wake, and it has a notification LED over here. That is a feature of the phone. But overall, with Snapchat or with Instagram or with any other apps, I've not had any issues. The phone works just fine. It does not have standby drain. So after all the scores, let me actually give you a total rundown of how much this phone has scored. Now overall, for a custom ROM, while we wrap this up, let me tell you guys, I will give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. And after you watch 6 or 7 different ROM reviews from me, you'll realize how the point system works, because 3.5 is a very good rating out of 5. So this ROM does get 3.5 stars. Things that can be improved, well, if they can integrate a theming engine and maybe include a bug fix for the IR face unlock, it can definitely get a 4. So let me know in the comments section, guys, how did you like this video? I understand this might be a little long, but then again, guys, this is a full review and I want you guys to get all the information you can before you actually unlock that Poco and put or slap a custom ROM onto it. So let me know in the comment section how much you liked it. Please share it as much as you can, because there is a very exciting giveaway that will be coming up after the existing one is over. For now, this is Kailash signing off at Smartphone Tutorials. Until the next one, keep smiling, take care, goodbye.